Oh man, don't tell me I've been slaying hot girls this whole time.
If you are a fan of heavy metal and rock like I am, you probably eyed this game for a very long time, or even own it right now. If you are part of the latter, you can probably tell there's some trouble in paradise. Developed by
Double Fine!
and yes, I did just do that just to hear that noise, and published by EA with a remarkably suitable demonic logo for them, can this game still be somewhat redeemable? Well, the presentation is top-notch, with a large world to explore, a wide variety of enemies, and all soaked with that heavy metal flavor. It's hard not to enjoy seeing it all, though the car definitely feels a bit floaty. And while it's fun to sometimes drive around the area, with no fast travel this can get very annoying due to how huge the world is. But with various enemy designs and good voice acting, the presentation remains strong. It even has famous bands like Dragon Force and many more for the soundtrack. Fortunately, the plot holds up surprisingly well, if nonsensical. But then again, this is the same game with stone dragons gag like they're freaking gimps, so I didn't really expect much. You play as Eddie Riggs, played by Jack Black, and to his credit, he makes the role work very well. He is seemingly killed after trying to save some obnoxious band member, but is instead transported to another world thanks to this giant monster, and seemingly the past. Clearly, we are following the episode of Bardock logic here, though it makes somewhat more sense later on. Eventually he joins up with a rebel group to overthrow the demonic overlord Daviculus, as well as some other baddies like... For the love of God, would someone shut him up? The plot is pretty simple and easy to follow with the occasional twist, and I enjoy how simple and enjoyable the characters are. Eddie Riggs definitely stands out, and it's fun to accept missions just to see some of his humor shine. Even the serious moments are handled well in what I thought was going to be a story mostly covered in humor. Unfortunately, things start to fall apart with the gameplay. The basic combat system is simple enough though, and some of the moves activated are fun to see. The lack of impact though with each hit does take away from this though, and there's really not much else to the fighting. Fortunately, upgrades to Eddie's axes and his car keep the game somewhat fresh, especially when the guy making the upgrades is Ozzy frigging Osbourne.
Every time you come back, there's another fucking scratch on that beautiful car.
Did I mention how much I geeked out with the heavy metal and Tim Curry stuff too? You can traverse the world for many collectibles. In fact, some even tell another story about the birth of the world and how it relates to our main hero. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to find, but it's enjoyable at least. And it doesn't really hinder the main plot in any way. The world is also littered with some collectibles that can actually boost your abilities, give you new ones, or even give you new songs. Had the game kept to these mechanics alone, it would have been decent with doing side quests and roaming the metal lands. Not great, but not bad. The real problem though are the army fights. Well, that sounds epic. And seeing every fighter beat the piss out of each other can be fun to see, the organization of everything is a horrifying mess. There's no meter indicating anything, so you could potentially be underprepared for any situation. This of course goes for any towers you need to take or defend, as you constantly have to fly everywhere to see how the battle is going. And it can also be hard to see your own units in the sky. Combine all of this together, plus the fact that you can easily die, though at the very least you can revive yourself. It's hard to use any kind of strategy. I mainly just use buffs with the guitar and try to overwhelm the enemy, and that's usually the right strategy sometimes. With how long these battles last, they are tedious and drag out the game. There is a multiplayer mode centered around this stuff as well, but I think I would rather listen to more Lion White shouting than deal with it. A radar and a better interface could have fixed a ton of problems. The final verdict for Brutal Legend is... pretty much that. Had it refined its combat more, this game would have been amazing. Despite that, it has a likable cast of characters that manages to be very memorable, a task that a lot of other games are having a hard time doing, besides being god-awful. I'm the Smartest Moron, and be sure to tune in for an episode of Saviors of the Tale featuring a certain rocker. You know, unless Adobe Premiere Pro wants to mess with my footage again.
Right, okay. I'll be back soon, covered in metal god love.
Oh God.
Just want to give my thanks for staying with me for this long. There's more videos as you can see, such as a quick review on Xenoblade Chronicles X, a damn fine game, if a bit of a pain in the ass. Or you can catch up on the last big review with Shadow Hearts. I swear I have another review coming, it's just taking a bit long. School is starting up. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, as well as share with your friends. And don't feel afraid to comment either. Now if you'll excuse me, the next semester is starting, and I need to make sure I kick its ass.